For staying with Checkpoint. Now, 10 women die every day due to excessive bleeding after delivery. So what really happens? Can it be prevented? Why are women losing their lives while bringing life? Our special features reporter Gutu Rosa sought answers from maternal health experts and has also documented the heartbreaking story of Victor Ambula, who lost his wife shortly after she delivered their daughter.
What does it mean to come into the world only for the person who brought you here to take her last breath? How is a father supposed to feel when he finally meets the life he once felt kicking inside his wife's belly, but she's no longer here to share that moment? What does it mean to give life, yet not be there to hold the little bundle of joy that had been turning and growing within you for 9 months? This is the heartbreaking reality for some families. Mothers enter the delivery room breathing, hopeful and full of dreams, only to leave lifeless, destined for the morgue. What really happens in those moments? Can it be prevented? What must change? My name is Gutu Rosa. On the morning of October 25th, 2023, Victor Ambula was filled with joy and anticipation. With his 2 sons in tow, he made his way to the hospital not just to visit, but to introduce his sons to a new chapter of their lives, their newborn baby sister. But something was amiss.
Nilifika hospitali nikapata one of the nurses kama ameshikilia mtoto. So ile kuulizia like I'm here for Zipora, nataka kujua hali yake, akaniambia huu ni mtoto wa Zipora mwenye nimebeba. Currently Zipora bado ako theater room. The doctors wanamshughulikia.
Victor expected warm smiles and gentle reassurances, but instead, he was met with silence and a nurse who held the newborn in her arms alone. His wife was nowhere in sight and he became restless.
Niliinsist nikapeleka kwa daktari. Daktari akanipeleka kwa theater room. That's when sikuingia, niliona tu through the window. I could see my wife lying on the theater kwa hiyo bed ya operation, na alikuwa amekiwa zile gas ile nini za kupumua, struggling to breathe. So nikaambiwa they are still working on her. I give them some time, then wataniita ama atatoka once all is well.
As he waited outside the theater, the nurse walked past him, but something in her demeanor had changed. Then came the words that shattered his world. His wife, the mother of his children, had passed away shortly after birth. The joy of life had collided with the sting of death.
Nikiwapo nje, one of the doctors called me akaniambia, Baba, okay Victor, we're sorry, your wife tulijaribu, but she couldn't make it.
Victor was given 6 hours to move the body to the morgue. As shock consumed him, he called a friend to take his sons home. The next day, his sister-in-law, a trained ECD expert, broke the devastating news to the children with compassion. Victor joined them soon after.
And then immediately after kuelezea, that's when I joined them. Walikuwa wamebreak, wanalia. That's when I joined them. Yeah, they understood. From what nilielezewa, the mood and everything after them being told, they understood the loss.
His wife had longed for a daughter, and she finally had her, but never got to hold her, not even for a moment. For Victor, life since then has been a journey through grief and resilience.
With kids without their mother, apart from them missing their mother, I also miss my wife. And looking at all these responsibilities, I know lazima ni stand up as a man, lazima ni stand up as a father, but again, it's not been easy. Preparing them for school every day, coming back early, we do homework, prepare supper before they sleep. ensuring that they are well, easy, but I'd say we are managing.
After the burial, Victor's aunt stayed for a while to help care for the newborn. Several attempts with house helps followed, but none felt right. Eventually, he made the difficult decision to take his daughter to live with his mother in Nairobi. They see each other often, and now motherhood and childbirth in particular sits heavily in Victor's heart.
Nilikuwa na associate any pregnancy na death. So with time, I'm getting used to, but again, I still have that feeling that pregnancy is a risky thing and is not, okay, seek it you could joke with.
For his children, Victor has this message.
My children, Daddy loves them, and Daddy will do anything, just to ensure that they lead the best life that they can live. And despite their mother not being there, I know they miss her, but I might not be able to fill her shoes, but I'll do anything that I can just to ensure that all is well with them.
Victor says every year when he celebrates his daughter's birthday, he also celebrates his wife's death. His family and friends have been a strong support system, and he has also joined a support group for men who have lost their wives in the maternity ward.
Men in Maternity movement is a movement of men, and we are trying to talk to men. We are trying to tell men, come, let's talk. Do you know what it takes to be expectant? Do you know the journey of pregnancy from conception to delivery? Do you know the danger signs? When the baby is delivered, do you know what it means for the baby to have fever? Do you know? I mean, we need to learn. Therefore, we are trying to get rid of that, I'm an African man, to I am a partner in this.
The first hour after delivery is referred to as the golden hour, a crucial window for both the mother and the baby. It's the time for bonding, the skin-to-skin contact that helps regulate the baby's heart rate, breathing, temperature, and stress levels. It's also when breastfeeding is ideally initiated. But when the mother is not there to take part in this sacred hour, what becomes of the newborn?
The baby will be taken to a newborn unit, and in the newborn unit, the baby will be kept warm, either in an incubator or on a baby cot. So that's the first thing, to make sure that the baby is kept warm. Then the next thing is we check the feeding of the baby. So you establish whether the baby is able to feed at that time. If the baby can feed, then the next best thing, when the breast milk is not available because the mother is not there, we opt for donated breast milk. If the breast milk, donated milk, is not available, then the next best option is a formula milk that is given based on whether the baby is a term baby or a premature baby.
However, if the baby is not able to feed, Dr. Tunje says that the baby will be given some fluid,
which is given through the veins of the baby. We call them intravenous fluid, but it is what I generally call it water. So in that water, it will have the water itself, but it also has some elements which we call the electrolytes, but it also has some glucose in it.
After birth, the newborn is immediately given vital vaccination, oral polio, the BCG injection to prevent tuberculosis, and a shot for hepatitis B. But while new life begins, it's also a critical time for mothers, a time that can turn fatal. Midwife units at Sally says some complications that cause maternal deaths may begin long before delivery, even before conception.
A woman can die because of postpartum hemorrhage, which may have started way long before they became pregnant by this woman having maybe severe anemia. So they become pregnant with already severe anemia. So when they bleed after birth, that can lead to the woman collapsing and dying because of shock. Other things can be heart conditions that a woman may have before they even become pregnant. So someone becomes pregnant when they already have existing heart condition, that now the pregnancy complicates it. And sometimes following birth, they can actually die because of the complication of the heart condition.
She points to conditions like hypertension and amniotic fluid embolism as silent threats.
Amniotic fluid embolism is where the water that covers the baby penetrates through the placental site and gets into the blood system, which eventually travels to the lungs, and it causes this woman not to be able to breathe effectively. And then, of course, hypertension is another very big killer of women at the moment, because it does not only, you can actually die because of the eclampsia, which is related to high blood pressure during pregnancy, but it can also complicate to kidney injury.
A mother who has had vaginal birth should not bleed more than 500 milliliters of blood, and a mother who has given birth through cesarean section should not bleed more than 1,000 milliliters of blood. One would wonder, how do doctors know the amount of blood lost? In the maternity room, they use tools called drips, obstetric drips and calibrated drips. They're both used in the maternity ward, but they serve different purposes. Obstetric drips are general use drips that provide a sterile surface during delivery, while calibrated drips are specifically designed to collect and measure blood loss. And this helps a lot in management of postpartum hemorrhage. However, at the moment, Kenya is having a shortage with supply of the drips. Healthcare providers are forced to use hands in determining blood loss while managing excessive bleeding. Dr. Kireke Omwana, obstetrician and gynecologist, says some expectant mothers go to the hospital with very low blood levels.
Unfortunately, some of the patients that we see, their hemoglobin levels when they come to hospital to deliver could be around 3, 5, for example, where the minimum should be around 10.
The normal hemoglobin or blood levels are, for men, 13.5 to 17.5. For women, 12 to 15.5. For pregnant women, it should not be less than 11, but individuals' range may vary. Hemoglobin levels can fluctuate with age, living at higher altitudes, and certain health conditions, for example, anemia. The race and ethnicity also is a factor.
And unfortunately, because these women do not know the seriousness of the problem, we are the ones who get shocked when we see a patient who has an HB of 3, an HB of 5. You know, that is really a problem. So 36% of women who are expectant in Kenya have anemia.
Dr. Omanwa adds that non-cancerous uterine fibroids, common among women of African descent, can complicate delivery by affecting the uterus's ability to contract.
You imagine these fibroids coexisting with a pregnancy. What happens when a woman gets pregnant is that a lot of blood starts flowing into the womb in order to feed the baby who is growing and to supply oxygen. Now, as this baby is growing, the fibroids will also take advantage of the huge amount of blood that is flowing through the uterus, and they will also continue growing. When these women come to deliver, natural, normal process of delivery is that the uterus starts contracting in order for the passage to open. But if there are fibroids, of course, after delivery, the uterus does not contract. So it will continue bleeding. So what we call atony.
Causes of excessive bleeding and maternal deaths include anemia, heart condition, amniotic fluid embolism, hypertension, diabetes, history of postpartum hemorrhage, and patients who have delivered many times.
If a woman is carrying 2 babies, for example, or even 3 sometimes, rarely 4, the womb is actually about the size of my hand, but it has this ability to really stretch and can carry, a baby, a big baby, even 2 babies and more. So when this patient comes to deliver with that overstretched uterus, there is a mechanism, a physiological mechanism to actually start the contracting process. If this doesn't happen, the patient will start bleeding and will have a lot of difficulty in helping the uterus to contract.
The doctor insists that many of these conditions are preventable.
Anemia can be prevented. We can mitigate, we know there is a big baby. We need to plan when this patient comes to hospital. This patient is carrying twins, carrying triplets. We can mitigate that when she comes. We know how to prepare for an emergency. If she goes to deliver, we are ready. We anticipate that it's going to happen, so we prepare ourselves.
Dr. Omogeni Richard, the president of the Obstetrician and Gynecology Society in North Rift, says ending maternal deaths requires more than medicine, noting that it takes systematic commitment.
Most of these things can be prevented if people make the right decisions. And the right decisions here, we mean political decisions. The political decisions is finances are needed in terms of ensuring this can be done. At a lower level, we are trying to do everything. At the professional level, I have to apply what I have learned in school to save these lives. But I can get limited in terms of what I have to use. For example, there are devices that can be used to prevent bleeding. But these devices, we only read them in books.
Professor Moses Obimbo, the lead of End Postpartum Hemorrhage Initiative, explains the amount of blood a woman should lose while giving birth.
And excessive bleeding means after they deliver normally or through the vagina, and they lose more than 500 mils of blood. 500 mils is equivalent to about a packet of milk. That would be known as postpartum hemorrhage. And after cesarean section, if they lose more than 1,000 milliliters of blood, that's about 2 packets of milk. That would be considered as PPH, although the definition can vary, because if a mother has low blood level, say hemoglobin level of 7 or 6, it means if she loses 100 mils, that would be significant. She will easily go into PPH, or excessive bleeding after childbirth.
But what happens when a woman goes to deliver and her blood levels are low?
We need to have hemoglobin level of more than 10. Ideally, more than 11 would be better. But if it's less than 10, then it means they're at risk of suffering consequences at that time of delivery. And some of them can include excessive bleeding, postpartum hemorrhage, and they can also be very vulnerable to getting infections. So what happens is that for such a woman that presents at delivery situation with a low blood level, she will need to have a blood transfusion. But as you know, in this country, we already have problems and challenges with blood and blood products, and that's one of the things that we are working on in our End PPH initiative.
Global figures from 2023 reveal the scale of the crisis: 260,000 maternal deaths, with 182,000 in sub-Saharan Africa alone. However, various strategies have been put in place.
Like, we educate our students and practitioners that we have active management of labor, we monitor labor equivalent, and we provide some medications that make the uterus to contract after the childbirth. We are able to, reskill and continuously have continuous medical education. However, there are some gaps that are there, like implementation gap. People know what they need to do, but they don't do it. Or some programs are funded. When they are no longer funded, they are not being able to be sustained, sustainability gap. Or some people live, rural poor, urban poor, who are not able to access good health services. And sometimes some of the solutions that we have are not co-created by the communities.
Postpartum hemorrhage now claims 1.6 times more lives than road accidents in the country. Over 3,000 women die every year from excessive bleeding, meaning 10 women lose their lives every single day. That's 3,000 families torn apart. And for men like Victor, who lost his wife just hours after giving birth, life changed in an instant. He now wakes up early to cook, prepare his children for school, and help with homework at night. They miss their mother, but they have each other. In this journey of grief and resilience, they have found their own rhythm, a new way to survive. Agutu Rosa, KTN.